Okay, we'll give it a moment, let people kick back in. Welcome to part 2. Wasn't an intentional part 2, but apparently this broke things. We've still got the backup camera going. It's still recording, so that'll be all in one piece, hopefully. Might have to do some edits to make that into a single video, but we'll see what we can do with that. Apparently we've still got recording time left on it. I'm not sure how long we have left. Hey, Sky. Like I was just saying, I guess the stream messed up over on that one, but we've still got the background camera running over on that side, so apparently it's still got recording time left. We'll see what goes on with it. Here's hoping that it actually captures the entire stream in one shot. Worst case scenario, that one will be the full stream in one. Yeah, chaos buffering. I went to go read your comment and then it just turned around and again. So that happened. But yeah. You know what? Give me a second. We're gonna hit pause there. That way that one stops. We're gonna do that. We're gonna pull you out. That way you go back to the actual phone microphone. And I can walk away with these headphones on for a second. Because ultimately, I need to reheat that coffee. Oh yeah, definitely. Doing better than I was. Actually feel like things are being worked on. Reheat the coffee. Don't let it get to the point that it sputters this time. Hi, boyo. Okay. There we go. Alright. So, inevitably enough, truth be told, you know, I have no idea how many parts that camera has actually currently cut this into. Hey, Cat's Eye. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Jasmine Olivia. Hey, chat. In general, glad to see you. Glad to see you. Feel free to drop a comment down below. Oh, doing good, doing good. Hey, Brian. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Howdy, howdy. Sorry that your guys' chats were getting missed, y'all. The last stream had its chat broken so severely, and I did not realize it. Autos or photos? I love my photography, but I like to go fast. That's a tough choice. I gotta say autos. I gotta say autos, but even by saying autos, there's that part of me that says that even with autos, that you still gotta take time to stop and take in those moments. Favorite singer. Well, truth, right now, I feel like my favorite underrated singer, though he's getting up there in name standalone, is Jeff Castellucci. He's one of the members of Voice Play. He broke off on his own to do singles work, and I think that he's doing an amazing job and actually opening up the fact of the quality of singing that he can do when he's not held back by the rest of the group. Yeah, definitely, Brian. Got to take those moments to turn around and slow down and actually take a breath and smell the roses. Because if not, turn around and you end up blowing past so much. Cat's Eye, never heard of him. Okay, when you go to look him up, look up If you're gonna go to his, I'd say look up House of the Rising Sun as your introduction to him. Yeah, the video broke again. Okay, I figured that. It's gonna happen. The door's shut. I can't open up the door right now for the signal, or I would. I mean, I'm trying to keep the volume down for the neighbors at least. Yes, House of the Rising Sun is a very good one. There's been a few different... Damn chair. There's been a few different bands that have done covers of it that have done really, really well. Truth is, I think if I had to list my top 3 on it, it'd have to be the original version itself, Five Finger Death Punch, Five Finger Death Punch's version of it, and Jeff. But between Jeff and Five Finger Death Punch, I wouldn't really be able to tell you which order between those two. There's such a toss-up for second and third place. Yeah, you blame me for saying chaos. You're the one that typed it into chat. That chaos buffering moment. Yep. I read it. I said it. But I think it was that Void Dragon of yours that caused a little bit of issues there, Sky. Oh. Alright. Right back, y'all. Go make sure that that doesn't turn around and boil over. You're hot again. Okay, now I can actually have some hot coffee. Back to where you'll melt the cream and sugar. Much better. Okay. Yeah, Falling in Reverse is Last Resort. Their cover of that one was really good too. They ended up doing really, really well with it. Truth is, I think any music prior to... I don't know, I would give it almost maybe till 2010. But after 2010, I think music just went downhill. I can't. The new music is crap, and we all know it. They're shuffling out the same old thing, just trying to rebrand it under a different name. Yep, still love ICP. I know. Trust and believe. There's those moments that they are the cathartic to my mental days. So I still laugh at the people who think that their songs are just darkness, when reality's sake is it's a way to let the darkness out so the light can shine. It's always been a mindfuck with them. Most non-Christian sounding Christian group in existence. And they'll tell it straight to your face. Laughing while they do it. Yeah, Tech's damn good. Tech is damn good at what he does. Though, don't get me wrong. It trips me up a little bit that Tech went into his own record producing company, but then again, I kind of get it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tech is still damn good at what he does, but I don't really consider Tech underground anymore. He used to be underground, in my opinion. He's not underground no more. He's running on the verge of freaking mainstream. Which, truth be told, I know for him, he's never really had a problem with that. And I get that's why the whole record production label and all that came into effect, was because, truth be told, he wanted to get out there farther. but straight up, he's not underground like everyone still tries to say that he is. Oh, I know, and the way he just laughs it off, man, for real. I got to give him credit where credit's due. Tech's damn good at what he does. He's made some great choices over the years of those that he's turned around and chose to bring into the fact of the studio. You know, truth be told, him getting his hands on Ritz, it did him some fucking good for both Ritz and himself. Hell, truth is, he could have nabbed Slim if he really wanted him. But I don't think Slim would have ever given up his own record label for the fact of coming into the fact of Strange Records. Yes, Run DMC and Snoop. Though Snoop will never live down the words a pie in the horse. National television, Family Feud, a pie in the horse. Where he came up with a pie in the horse from. Yes and no. Yes and no. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of them by Eazy that I do like, and there's a lot of them from him that I actually don't like, and or that I'm just not that into. You know, but I think that goes for almost any band in existence. There's not a single band that I listen to that I could run through their entire discography and turn around and not find a song or two that I really don't connect with. Nah, nah. Like I said, he'd never leave the fact of his label to turn around and run with the fact of Tech. But I think they could do some real damage on a track if they ever got together. Yeah, given for any of us, that's true. That's true. We all know it. Oh, man. And yet, for some reason, now all I have is Seven running through my head. A tisket, a tasket, the scarecrow's out his casket. Turn out the lights and lock the doors, praying that he passes. But that should just say how much of an impact the music makes. For Seven to trigger in my brain just because of the fact of the subject and the record labels that we're on, that should say everything that anyone needs to know. uh, oh, it's alright. I still question whether the fucking rumor floating around is true or whether it was just an AI creation. That Snoop got his name because apparently he was tripping balls one night and saw a literal Snoopy character come up to his door, invite him out, and by the time it was all said and done, that Snoopy character gave him the nickname Snoop. I wonder, is that a true tale or an AI creation? You know what? You know what? Sky, understand, okay? And this is coming from an ordained minister too, so please, nobody actually take offense to this. But I can prove to you God is a man. Okay, I can prove it. Because only a man would let shit get this fucked up. Straight up. If God was a woman, there's no way that shit would be the way that it is on Earth right now. There would be some intervention there. But God is totally a dude sitting back on the recliner eating a fucking bowl of chips watching the earth burn. Okay? And understand that's coming from an ordained minister. I'm not saying that I don't believe in a higher power. I'm not saying that I don't have my faith. All I'm saying is God's got to be a dude because only a man could let it get this far out of control and not turn around and do something to fix it. Okay? But trust and believe, I do agree with the concept that God does have a wife, because otherwise you're talking an asexual being who had a son that is classified as male in the book that is written for him. So, yeah, there's some theological debates there that have caused me to go to text version of what would be considered clusterfuck for a religion, taking all religions and boiling out the bullshit. Yes, definitely. Ozzy will be missed. Ozzy will be missed. Yes, he will. But yeah, it is so great. Now I got Carlin and organized religion running in my head. That's a great concept, Canna. Yeah, let's just go with freaking Carlin's definition of what organized religion is. Oh, you'll probably get yourself banned on YouTube for it. Is a published author on the subject that's being spoken of? Okay. Okay. That is intriguing as all intriguing. But yeah, yeah, the book is called History. Ah, but therein lays the key detail. The true definition of history. His story. History is written by the victor. Even in the Egyptian era, every time a new pharaoh took over, the old pharaoh's lineage and acts and things that they had done, especially if the new pharaoh didn't like them, they were written out of the record. They were chiseled off the walls and written over. Took 12 years to write the book. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. The amount of time that it would take to turn around and chronicle just that amount of information, I don't doubt that it took 12 years. Okay, okay, understand. I get where you're coming from with that, but that would still be better than the churches claiming that Christ himself is God himself, because that means that man turned around and killed God for God to be resurrected 3 days later. Okay, there is a lot of how it is being translated and ran through the modern day church that I wonder what they were smoking when they came up with the sermon. Okay, because I swear they had to have been smoking something when they came up with that sermon. It went they went off script so bad. I mean, I'm sorry. There's a reason why I myself, though I am an ordained minister, why I have been banned. BANNED, banned from multiple churches. You want to know that reason why? Because in the first 10 chapters of Genesis, there's enough questions to get an inquisitive mind kicked out of any church. What's up, Conic? Yeah, you just thought there goes my claim to being God. Oh, Well, you'll always be the goddess of the void realm that you go over because honestly, that dragon will eat anything else that walks in. Yeah, more like a reference book. Exactly. I mean, come on. The three major religions right now that are fighting it out in Israel, okay? And I know this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people, and I know that a lot of people get their fill-bads hurt over this topic. But the war that's going on in Israel, that's been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. It is the same fucking war that they fought in the Crusades. The Bible versus the Torah versus the Quran. You want to know the problem with that whole fucking war? The entirety of the problem with that war, okay? The Bible contains the Torah. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament. So why are they fighting with each other? Because one extended on the scripture and chose to go with more of the writings that were included in the time? I don't see that being a reason to fight. I just see that being a reason to agree to disagree. You have your Orthodox religion decision of the first 5 chapters, and the rest of them decide what they decide. Settle the fucking disagreement. It's that damn simple. Now, then you've got the Muslims, okay? And they've got the Quran. When you don't have it in the extremists' hands, it is not a dangerous book. It is only when it gets twisted for the wrong fucking reasonings that it becomes a danger to the society that it is presented upon. And there are a lot of people overseas that will tell you it is not their people's belief, it is the belief of those extremist groups that have caused those issues. Okay? But the only issue I can see with the Quran when it comes to Christianity is that Jesus is a prophet. He is still a human being. I don't think that's an issue. I really don't think that's an issue. He was born on earth a man, though he may have been guided by the divine plan. He was still on earth as a man. So in turn, is it really that much of a fucking problem that he's called a prophet and called a man in someone else's book? Not really. It's a difference of opinion. Is it worth turning around and setting hundreds of thousands of years worth of fucking fighting and infighting and literally homicidal genocide of your own fucking people for no good reason whatsoever other than my God's dick is bigger than yours? You all three of you answer to the same God in a different name. Every religion answers to the same God in a different name. The Tower of Babel broke it into 7 baselines of humanity. If you go by the good book, quote unquote, according to the Bible, Tower of Babel, seven different divisions, broken apart, separated by language, separated by culture, and given their own portion of the book. Why is everyone fighting about it? Why aren't they studying together? Because I'll tell you right now, there's plenty of points in the Quran that line up quite well with the Bible. There's plenty of points in the Bible that line up quite well with other cultures. There's plenty of points in other cultures that reality's sake is they just turn around and expand on the fact of what was originally written in the biblical text. You know, love thy neighbor, treat thy neighbor like you would love thy God, like you would love thy God before you. Be a good person. It's not that hard, folks. That's why you can't get me on the war overseas, because truth be told, it's a multi-100,000-year war that should have never occurred in the first place. Yeah, Alanis Morissette, there's no way that anyone doesn't know Alanis Morissette. If you don't know Alanis Morissette, you're not human. Yeah, the two Jehovah's Witnesses that almost got in my opinion, decommissioned, because I don't get how a church can turn around and preach that, quote unquote, Cain married his sister when they say that they're based in Christianity. That means that they should be basing it towards Genesis, which means that they should be basing it Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. There was no daughter for Cain to find or marry. There was no prior eviction out of the Garden of Eden, according to the book. So, where did he come up with a sister? Come on, Joseph Smith. These are the hard questions to answer. This is why I'm not allowed in your church. Yep, Fall of Babylon. That one's a tough one, because then the question becomes, who are the 7 tribes currently to this day? And no one really has an answer to that. But if you know South Park, you know Matt and Trey's answer to it. Matt and Trey's answer is it was the Mormons the entire time. Ha ha ha, hardy har har. Though I cannot believe that Matt and Trey turned around and released on public television the fact of Scientology's actual beliefs. I gotta give them credit where credit's due for that one. They put such a big target on their back. You know what, Sky? I'll give that one to you. I will give that win to you. I can give that win to you. If we're going by the rules of dogma, you win. Let's just be very clear about that. If we're going by the rules of dogma, you win. Yes, I know. I know. It's just like something that I don't get. And understand, this is why I say, though I am an ordained minister, I am controversial in a lot of ways. I don't understand where people came up with this fucking concept that Satan is the ruler of hell and will turn around and torment and punish people for the ever-loving rest of their days. Do people not understand that the name Satan, okay, and it is not Satan. Let me get that straight with people. It is not Satan. It is Satan. Do you know what Satan means in the native dialect? Accuser. That's what it means. Accuser. The one that brings the accusations forward. What did Lucifer get kicked out of heaven for? Accusing. Accusations towards God. That his divine ineffable plan would be somewhere, some way fucked up. He got thrown out of heaven and a third of them with him, because they decided to turn around and follow the fact that, yeah, if you're going to give a species free will, you might want to consider the consequences. So they got kicked out of heaven. Okay, but does that really mean that you're going to go to a place in the afterlife that in the book itself has never been mentioned? Now understand, yes, there is a lake of fire, but that lake of fire is a personal prison for the dragon that lives inside of that lake, according to the book. Whether it's being literal or metaphorically spoken of, that becomes a question mark, because that devolves into the fact of, do you believe that dragons actually truly existed and that they could be maintained in a secret equivalency for them to continue to still be around? But yeah, and the next one that was born was his baby brother Seth, so still no female for him. Once again, that delves back into the fact that Lilith was removed from Genesis. If you go into Genesis chapter 1, into chapter 2, if you look at the beginning of chapter 2, you will realize that the book has restarted on day 3. Where the creation had already gone up to that point, it has been restarted at day 3 to turn around and erase Lilith from the picture. It's just like there is the typo that is not a typo of let us create man in our image according to our likeness, which is a callback to the fact of a polytheistic belief. A lot of the scriptures that were taken and modified were modified from the pagan religions. It just is what it is. Um, okay, here's the thing. I will argue that. And I argue that because one of the only churches that ever accepted me through their doors and did not kick me out was a Church of Christian Science. Does that mean that I believe with my ancestral family heritage that prayer is going to solve everything and that it's a savior for the fact of medical down the list? No. Do I think that having a positive outlook while you're turning around and getting treatment helps? Yes, I do. Do I believe that medication can be important and vital? Yes, I do. Do I believe it's necessary to have medication in certain circumstances? Yes, I do. Under their belief, that would not be the equivalency. But no, Scientology is a completely different, twisted fucking allegory to the fact of what quote-unquote Christian Science is. It is not the same religion. If you look into the depths of what actually goes on with Scientology and the fact of what they actually believe, you'd realize it's not the same. Nowhere near. Iceland? Iceland. Yeah, I know. It's just like Greenland and Antarctica. The warmer the world gets, the more those turn around and end up going through and melting. Well, guess what, folks? That means that the land masses that were there are opening up again. The great frozen desert is thawing. The sea levels are going to rise. The planet is going to warm up. Ooh. Ooh. You know the irony of it? That actually quantifies into a few different forms of different actual tribes down the list that would turn around and use the same exact medicines. The truth is, the main difference between herbal magic and herbal medicine is the fact of imbuing it. Depending on how it's imbued is dependent upon how it will have its effect. But once again, that's kind of the same concept as baking a cake with love without love. You know, if you bake a cake without love, it's not going to be that great of a cake. If you bake it with love, it'll taste all that different for whatever reason because the love was imbued into it. Yeah, exactly. It's who's looking at it. Reality's sake, I mean, most of what's put into the Wiccan herbal list is all in the Native American list for their book. And a few that aren't in the Wiccan list are in the Native American list that, truth be told, they supplement each other quite well. But no, I'm still a firm believer of the threefold rule. You know, whatever you put out there, it's going to come back threefold. You can either put out good or you can put out bad. Depending on how that goes, it's depending on the answer of where it goes. And yes, you're still recording. Okay. And I know that I don't have that set for loops, so if that does stop recording, I know that it's ran out of space on the memory card. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing is, there's a lot of things that they learned via means that were not actually supposed to occur. You know, it's kind of like Da Vinci. Da Vinci was great when it came down to the fact of actually getting the medical books down and how the human body worked and the anatomy and everything else down the list. But what people don't realize is he learned that through a legal dissection. If Da Vinci had been found out, he would have been killed because of committing the atrocities, the way they looked at it in the day and age, that he committed. You know, it's just like reality's sake as Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin was not a serial killer. The bodies underneath his house are not those of murder patients. They are the fact of quote unquote bodies that were brought to him by grave robbers to turn around and learn anatomy so that way he could turn around and be a better doctor for the people around him. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep. No harm to others. Point blank. Oh, dude, we got a traitor in the office. So, I mean, I'm sorry, unpopular opinion, but the man's a fucking traitor. He held on to national documents that were fucking guarded secrets in an unsecure location that him and his fucking overseas buddies turned around and constantly fucking went to. You're gonna tell me that he didn't turn around and show off those files and the information in them, just fucking turning around and saying, hey, look what I got. Yeah, come on, dude. Treason is treason. Secret documents were fucking leaked, and he's the reason why. But he's in office, he's running the fucking country, and if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. But considering the national politics the way they go, you should know exactly who I'm speaking of. And his Russian handler has been really remiss in the fucking headlines lately. Because I'm sorry, I have a firm belief on that one, too. But hey, you know, they try to shut channels down for speaking on it. I mean, private platform, I get it. They have the right to turn around and censor what gets said, but, you know, there's just certain degrees that you can't censor the American populace on. You know, the truth is, it is a skill. And reality's sake is there are some that are really good for doing it for others. There are other ones that just can't turn around and do a reading for others. I've tried doing readings for others, but if someone is going to do a reading for someone else, just remember it's not for monetary gain. It's once you start doing it for monetary gain that you go and turn into the what's the word? The stereotype that they turn it into. Yes, at least I ate noodles. I ate a thing of ramen at least. I still got pot pies in the oven. I'm just not ready to turn around and cook. Well, pot pies in the freezer. I'm just not ready to cook them yet. I'm thinking about oven setting them. But yeah, it's only once you start reading for money that you start turning into the stereotype of the quote unquote scam artist ripoff. It was never meant to make money. Yeah, cadavers was not the word I was looking for, actually. I lost the word again. Oh well. Yeah, puppet of the energy, exactly. It's just like, honestly, my true belief a black hole is a wormhole that hasn't been opened. And it could be pseudoscience, but here's my theory as to why. You have a black hole. A black hole turns around and takes in. It takes in planets, it takes in stars, it takes in energy, it takes all of it in. It goes to the singularity. All of that matter, all compressed into that singularity. Smaller than the pinprick on a needlehead. Compression. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. But matter spews out of black holes, just like it gets taken in by a black hole. Who's to say they're not connected? That one is not just going to the other one, and that all this matter spewing out of this one is coming from the other side? Complacency, no? Yeah. Yeah, complacency. Yeah, all four of them grew up together, exactly. There are photos of the four world leaders right now in, yeah, well, the four psychotic ones anyway, in my opinion. They're all fucking crazy. Was Roman Catholic? Ooh. Okay, so now you're talking. Now you're going into some old school Orthodox. Early to mid '80s. Take care later, Sapphire. Take it easy. Hope you have a good night. Um, Matter of fact, hold on. All right, we got about one more hour. We got about half an hour to an hour, somewhere in there. Uh, Actually, I think we'll call it in about 20 minutes when that says it's been an hour. Yeah, if Dad was Italian, then yeah, the old school Roman Catholic, that one comes in hard. It's still very prevalent in Italy to this day. But you know what? They have some of the prettiest cathedrals. They really do. And well, of course, they've also got the Pope. And well, if you're in a war between the churches, having the Pope is like having an ace up your sleeve. If the Pope says, the Pope says, and if the Pope says, it goes. So, yeah, it's still prevalent in New York too. I know. I know. But most people don't realize it, but the Pope's got the smallest, most well protected country in the entire world. The Vatican itself is its own country. It really is. Came over 69% Norwegian. Okay, okay. So now we got some serious, serious, serious Viking lineage and or Norse lineage. And I would lay it closer to the Norse than I would directly at the Vikings. Though they may have turned around and taken in two separate time frames that did coincide, there's that separation of the variation there. But yeah, that would definitely lay Nords slash Nordic. But that's awesome. I want to do one too, but then that means my DNA is in a database forever and they can use it for whatever they want. And well, I don't know. It feels weird. But truth be told, I think if I was ever to get one, I think it'd be interesting because it'd put a lot of family mysteries to bed in a lot of ways. Yeah, but just because you're born in Kansas doesn't mean that your lineage it stays in Kansas. I mean, come on. While the entire country is going bonkers over the fact of immigrants, this country was founded on immigration and, well, hostile takeover. And I'm sorry, but that's just the Native American blood that still floats in my family lineage that gets me to that point. But yeah, it's immigration and hostile takeover. But everyone in this country is born of an immigrant. There is not a person in this country alive right now that will not find their heritage outside of the US. And that's just real facts. Does it mean that immigration doesn't need to be reformed? No, it does not. Is reform necessary? Yes. Yes, it is. But should that mean deporting American citizens in the midst of it because you're not paying attention to due process or paperwork? Absolutely feckin' not. Yeah, but those are like a $200 hit, especially to go through 23andMe where it's actually the proper, like, good database, That's like a $200 hit. 200 and some change. And I could see putting that towards like plenty of other stuff that would be more viable and more necessary. Yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. I'm dying, I'm melting. And there might have been a munchkin in the background. They did bring a lot of tapes back and recall a lot of tapes. They seriously recalled a whole bunch of tapes from the production of that film. They swore up and down the munchkin was not there in the background, but does anyone find it weird that they recalled the tapes right after making that statement? Makes you think, don't it? But then again, Disney is not the happy-go-lucky company that they all think that it is. $9.99 around $59.99 around Christmas time? Yeah. Oh, don't feel bad, Sky. My brain wanders off too. It's just like the Pinky and the Brain floats through my head always and constantly. I wonder what we're gonna do today, Brain. Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Narf. But to think that Pinky was the genius the entire time. Oh, no. Okay, understand. Aladdin, they got censored. The Lion King, they slipped some shit through the censors. What I don't agree with, honestly, is them taking all of these Disney classics and turning them into live action and trying to call them a new movie. It just doesn't work that way. Take over the world. The Pinky and the Brain. Narf. Every time someone asks me what I'm doing tomorrow, the same thing I do every day. Try to take over the world. World domination. Play a game of Risk. We got a better opportunity chance at it. Oh, I miss playing Risk. Yeah, Animaniacs. Dot. Not that Prince. I said fingerprints. I don't think he would like that. Oh, after they recalled it? Yeah, I remember that. It's just like, I cannot remember which Disney princess it is, but it's the one where they've got the priest there, and they swear up and down it's the priest's kneecap. Okay, and if you know what scene I'm talking about, you know what scene I'm talking about, but they swear up and down that it's this priest's kneecap during the freaking marriage ceremony, and no, it's not. It's not. It was a slick little addition in there. But yeah. Uh, it's actually not as difficult as one would think. See, unlike a lot of people, I learned how to play Risk under the house rules of a two-player game, upwards of a four-player game, where it's not as it's not as stern. Foghorn Leghorn and Felix the Cat. Felix the Cat to this day is still on the quote unquote triple X list. And in all honesty, I don't find Felix the Cat really truly deserves the title of triple X. I honestly think that Felix the Cat, at best, it deserves an R rating. You know? Yeah, wacky races. Remember when he actually won the race legitimately and they stole it from him? When Dick Dastardly actually won a race without cheating and they took the win from him and handed it to the second place winner. Yeah, He-Man and She-Ra. Yes. Saturday morning cartoons. Oh yes. The old school Cartoon Network and old school Boomerang. Truth be told, I miss Boomerang back when Boomerang was Boomerang. I miss Cartoon Network back when it was Cartoon Network. I mean, come on. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy when it was still turned around and like half split with The Adventures of Evil Con Carne. Okay? When it was Grim and Evil. Not Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Grim and Evil before they turned around and just doubled down on Billy and Mandy. Thundercats. A lot of furries were born out of that show. Okay. Yep. Feel the magic, feel the roar. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Oh! Has anyone ever found it odd that that sword just straight up turns around and takes over the mind of the other Thundercats, if only for that split moment in time? Or that Skeletor originally had a face. That Skeletor had a face. Those that know what Skeletor looked like before he was just a skull, y'all know animation. Nah, you know what? There is no shame in showing one's age when reality's sake is a CD player, for a portable CD player, is sitting in a museum. Yeah, for Thundercats it was. It was Mumra. Yeah, the fact that the new generation don't know what a floppy disk is, I still laugh at that. That means NORAD's even more safe than ever. Because for those that don't know, NORAD's not this giant special computer. It's just a fucking little. It's a little fucking system from the 1970s, which makes it basically unhackable to current modern day shit. Yeah, Skeletor. At one point he was, yes. But does anyone know why the feud between Skeletor and the King of Castle Grayskull is so bad? Does anyone actually remember the reason as to why? Oh God, running hot dogs. No, 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 no. Windows 98 was bad enough. DOS was even worse. Hey, you know what? At least that thing will still work when the internet goes down. It was because they were brothers. Skeletor and the King of Castle Grayskull were brothers. Skeletor was actually the older brother. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Every reason why it should be. And dial up 7 hours for one song. Oh God. 3 days. 3 days to download games. Oh wait, that was if we were lucky and the signal held. And we won't get into how much that shit cost. People be thinking the bank account got robbed. No, it didn't get robbed. It just went to the fucking internet. Before or after the lawsuit. And for those that don't think that history repeats itself, Napster, they were the original fucking lawsuit before Spotify ever went through the same lawsuit. But yeah, Napster was damn good for music. It's just like we were on the concept earlier of the original MySpace, back when we could use our, granted, even if you weren't that good at coding, okay? Even if you weren't that good at coding, if you wanted to learn how to code a website, all you used to have to do is have a MySpace account. Because everything that was done on MySpace, everything that was made specifically special for you, you had to input code for. That's what made it so great. It was perfect for website designers that were just learning how to code. Somewhere that they could do it and not feel pressured to have to make it perfect. Oh, Moco Space? Shit. I haven't heard Moco Space forever. Moco got boring. I mean, Moco took off for a while and then Moco just disappeared. Like, everyone stopped using it. Just, it's like when Facebook started, Facebook took over everything. I mean, Facebook took over everything. They took over every single social media platform, basically. Bro, you're joking. POF is ran off of the old Moco Space servers? Seriously? You're kidding me. Dude, tell me that's not true. Please tell me that's not true, because if it is true, that is some of the funniest shit I have heard all week. Straight up. If that is true, that is some of the funniest shit I've heard all week. That Moco Space servers are what's currently fucking running Plenty of Fish. That's fucking great. That's just great. That's great. I can't even tell you the fucking blissful smile that brings to the interior sunshine that is the skull of my brain. I know one's called Phantom X. That one I'm drawing a blank. I openly admit it. I'm drawing a blank on that one. I still want to find a copy of Jewel Quest, but I don't want to have to buy the fucking computer to run it. I miss the original Jewel Quest. They were actually pretty good. Oh, Python. Yeah. Yeah. Python's a pain in the ass, though. Python straight up, it's a pain in the ass. I don't like Python. Yeah. Python being coding language, yeah. Understanding that, I don't like Python. It may be better, but the amount of complications that arise with it, in my opinion, is just not worth the extra time that it would take for me to put in with Python. No, I know. I know. I just did not turn around and trigger it in my head that that was fucking Python for the other name for it. But yeah, ultimately, personally, I never got attached to Python. I didn't like the way that the fucking coding it that That, and if I remember right, it wasn't Python that was being used on MySpace at that point in time either originally. It was actually fucking, I want to say it was C++. If I remember right, it was C++ that was being used for the coding base for that. But it's been a long time since I've touched a keyboard in that capacity. I mean, I'd have a lot of freaking refreshers that I would have to turn around and deal with. No, I know, Sky. You and Tech don't get along most times. I know that when Tech and you get into the same area, things start going a little wonky. It's like the airwaves get that tiny little bit of static going. Speaking of, I'm wondering if the clouds have gone away far enough for it not to be pixelated. Maybe actual clouds should sue the cloud. Oh my. You know what? You know what? I've heard some ridiculous court cases in my life. It would not be surprised if they tried to enact it. They may have simplified Python, but I still stand by the fact that C++ is a better platform. At least for those that are just learning. Yeah, exactly. C++ is straightforward. That is what we all, well, those that are like me, that's what we fell into with it, is that it's straightforward. It's no muss, it's no fuss. If you get your code lists down, you can turn around and do almost anything with it. Python, it takes so much more time to turn around and actually fucking understand the system that it becomes a time versus knowledge thing, and truth be told, eventually C++ just wins out. At least in my opinion. Oh god, Cobalt. Ugh. No. 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 I'm sorry. I'm a firm fucking proponent of C++. Yes, I know it still sounds better as C++ versus Cobalt. Brian, my brain doesn't compute. Don't worry, the blue screen of death is only a little while. It goes away after a tiny bit. Just gotta reboot the system. Uh, but, but man, it's been a long time. I want a real computer so freaking bad. I've got to save up for one. I've got to manage to put away for one. Yeah, still pixelating. Okay. No, computer coding. Computer coding. Hey, Plugsy, welcome, 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 welcome. See, this is how I know that my numbers up there are lying. I know there's more than 2 people in chat right now, but it's telling me too. Ah, but yeah. All due respect, y'all. Truth. I think reality's sake is. It's what time? It's going on 7. I think we got a half an hour left, and then we'll call it for the night. I think we're gonna cut the show at 7:30. I think that'd be like 4 hours cumulative, because I'm pretty sure that we started at like 3:30 or just before 3:30. Doing good, doing good. So, right? I just finally burned out the last of the 2 dabs worth that I had on the channel. Right? Makes perfect sense. Uh, that's fair, but not fair at the same time. There are a lot of them that are becoming very tech savvy, and it is both joyful and, well, worrisome at the same time. Because there's nothing scarier than granddad with a camera trying to pull a prank. Trust me, been there before. Do-do-do. Uh, Today has been a long day. It has been, actually, it's been a good day, but a long day. I gotta figure out something to do to decompress. Just be able to relax, kick back. Oh, waiting for chat, waiting for chat, waiting for chat. Is hoping it didn't give me the buffer of death. Yeah, I know, it's telling me 0. And I beg to differ because I know that we got plugs here, I know that we got Sky here, I know that we got you here. That 0 is not correct. I know we've got at least 5, if not more. Either that or it crashed again and I'm not sure. Because it is doing that. Well, now it's back to 1. I don't know. It's being weird. Like 8.5 there. Alright. You know what? I think we're gonna. Can I see your terrible joke? I see you still have to ask my daughter if she understands that stuff. But no, I see not any joke. Ah, there it is. Dear Algebra, stop asking where X is. She left you. Don't ask why. Keep the letters out of mathematics. Math does not need the alphabet. Okay? I passed my high school exit exam without knowing the letters of math, alright? So, obviously, they're not necessary to be able to pass the high school exit exams. Therefore, why do we really need them? Oh, wait, because they're mystery numbers. I thought that's what the equation is supposed to find out, is what the mystery number is, not what the mystery number is to solve the equation. Why are you going to give us an answer over here? Shouldn't the letter in that equation be on the other side of the equal sign? Like, this, and this equals X. Oh, wait, that's right. It would just make it indifferent. Oh, wait. Then you got the fact that X and a period are both a multiplication sign in math. So, I don't know who to blame for this, but somebody needs blaming. Okay? And it is one of the only things in school that I ever got an award in, and yet I stand by the fact that whoever invented some of this shit needs some fucking blame attributed to them, because they made school suck. And most of us, we don't use it to begin with. I mean, truth is, I'm sure that reality's sake is most people that learned what they learned in school, in the last 10 years after leaving school, they have used 0.5% of what they learned in school and were forced to memorize. Because they didn't learn, they memorized. That's all the schools taught us how to do, is memorize information and work on a factory line. That's all a school is. It has not changed since the early 1900s. Oh, it was a terrible joke, but it led to a great segue. And truth be told, I love my terrible jokes sometimes. On bus on the way to the appointment now. All right, all right, all right. I figured you were hiding in the background somewhere in there, Danny. And yeah, once again, it just proves that that big fat zero up there on viewer numbers right here, it's liar. I have no idea how many viewers we really have right now, but you know what? That number, not true. Because it's telling me zero. I call bullshit. I call a bad signal. And truth is, I also call that I might just get in trouble for something along the lines in this video. Eyeballed by your daughter for your jokes. That's because, unlike the portion of the generation like me where we grew up with the elders in the generation per se, truth is, a lot of the other half of the generation, they don't get the dad jokes. They don't get the mom jokes. They don't get the it's funny because it's funny, because it's ironic, because it's real, so it's funny. It's kind of like a lot of people don't get German humor. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. Trust and believe, we've had days on the studio back in the past history where we've turned around and literally put up the green screen and just muted the channel for like 10 or 15 minutes because we still had things that we had to get together for the fact of the show. So, no harm, no foul, no shame. What time we got? 7:03. All right. Yep. Okay. So yeah, we'll be wrapping up here shortly. We got like 27 minutes, give or take. By the time that timer says an hour and a half on my side, it'll be time to kill the show. So we're wrapping down to like the last 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes or so. Uh, that's not the worst one. Come on. We've had those moments where we just have that thought that kicks off in our head that has us diabolically laughing when everyone around us is being so serious that it's not even funny. And then they wonder why we're the ones in the group that are laughing. It's because we got some fucking great shit going on up here that's making us actually laugh. And if they could only understand, but oh, when we try to let them in, they just don't get the humor. They don't get it. Yeah, exactly. We are so innocent. We're so politically correct, but oh, the thoughts that we have running in the back of our heads. If half of the shit that we thought came out on national live or on television or even got broadcast, truth be told, people would probably be shocked, offended, and would either be smiling or aghast at the things that are running on in the back of our heads. Won't even turn around and try to deny that one. Oh, they'd look at all of us weird. They'd look at every last one of us weird. If all of our thoughts were just on loudspeaker for the public, they would never look at us the same way ever again. Ever. Okay. And they already look at me weird, so I could just imagine what would happen. Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. I have told people multiple times, if they want to be in control of the sewer plant that is my mind, then they better be willing to dive for the keys. I threw them in the deepest pipe that they could possibly go into. Have fun jumping down and trying to get them. Hey, that's actually truly a good thing. Actually, ironically enough, that is a good thing because that means that the new unit will actually be more, it'll be more accurate, which means that you should actually see a drop in your bill. Minus like the first 1 or 2 months, upwards of 3 months, where they might turn around and try to recomp the price of the unit itself. That's always a debate. But technically, you should see a drop in your actual pricing on that here within like the next 3 to 6 months. It should actually do really well and actually give a good benefit. That would be the hope, yeah, because honestly, older units, they tend to turn around and have issues, especially when it comes to the dials. Some of them read a little bit more, some of them read a little bit less. Honestly, it's not such a bad thing to get the old unit replaced because then you know that you're working with a brand new system that is actually up to date and current and is functioning, and it's just better. I mean, usually, as long as it doesn't have a critical failure in it. And hey, it's not like that happens all the time. Yeah, half an hour to 60 minutes. That sounds about right. Most Sparkies that know what they're doing, yeah, you'll probably be looking at about a half an hour to 45. Yeah, cucumbers or measurements. Okay, okay. Folks, let's just all admit it. That big, fat, wet, juicy cucumber sitting behind Teddy has been in our heads for months. It has not escaped any of our thoughts, minds, or memories, and we all thank him for it. But yeah, any Sparky that knows what they're doing, a half an hour to 45 minutes, it should be done. The only way it should take upwards of an hour to an hour and a half is if they run into one of three problems. Either the wiring is not long enough, which that should be nothing but a thing. They should be able to just run to their truck and grab some wires to extend them out if necessary. No big deal. Um, something something just doesn't turn around and sit right and they have to modify it. I don't see that. It should only take them maybe 45 minutes to an hour at max. 30 minutes if they're rushing. If they only take 30, I'd question and really hope that everything's hooked up right, and I would probably turn around and walk out there and double check it myself at that point. Because either you got a really experienced crew or they were really rushing the fact of putting it in. That's because our brains don't work the same way that the rest of society does. Society is so worried about being politically correct that they forget what it means to be human. We're human. Our thoughts, we all turn around and have those fucking intrusive thoughts of, hey, what would happen if we just accept them like they're normal? Oh, yeah, honestly, that's just part of being a really actually polite and conducive neighbor. I mean, truth be told, I give you kudos for that. That is awesome. Because I don't think the electric company is legally required to actually notify them. I think they're supposed to because it's a duplex, but if they didn't, at least it came from you. But yeah, I would be freaking out if the power went down and all of a sudden there's just a random crew working on the box a little bit. Normal is the fact that we're all fucked up in our own individual ways, each and every last one of us. No one, no one in life that is, well, classified as normal. Nobody in life that is normal has walked through life without gaining a few scars along the way. whether they be physical, mental, emotional, or otherwise. Everybody that is a normal person has got scars. After all, 68%, well, at the time that the study was taken, it was 68% of American families, they're considered dysfunctional. That means dysfunctional households are the majority. We are the normal. Take that for what it's worth. Be scared of it if you want to, or just turn around and accept that we are the ones that when the end of the world comes, that we're going to be looking at the Lexus factory saying no one's watching it. Or that nice little Porsche factory. Or anywhere that has our dream vehicles. We'll be the ones thinking, hey, nobody's watching that. Because the end of the world needs to be fun, don't it? Question, is this neighbor a techie? Because if this neighbor is like straight up like solid online game down the list, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Just got off the bus, cool, cool. October, November, that alien ship coming to get Earth. Oh, fuck. You know, it still amazes me that if the rumors are presumed to be true, okay, and I state if the rumors are presumed to be true, but I'm pretty sure that the American populace probably would do some shit like this. During the middle of that last major everybody getting sick thing, right? There's a story that the American government released the fact that aliens are real during that last major everyone got sick moment, and the entire nation was just like, we have more important shit to deal with, not right now. So, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, well then yeah, that works perfectly into the fucking ball. That works perfectly into the wheelhouse. Um, you know what? We're all a little bit technologically inclined and we're all a little bit technologically disabled sometimes. It happens to the best of us. Uh, More coffee. Well, spoon's not too warm. Are you still steaming? You still got steam, you can still take cream. 51 on the 15th. Nice, nice. Today will be the, well, that day will be the numerological reversal. Wants me to make sure the Sparky turns the power back on after they're done because sometimes they don't and we don't want our food to go back. Oh, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. Truth be told, I've had a few occasions where I've had to turn around and actually tell city employees as they're leaving, hey, did you make sure to do this? And then go and double check after they've told me that they did just to find out that no, they totally fucking forgot it. They were supposed to flip a switch or a breaker and they didn't do it, or they were supposed to turn on a water line and they didn't do it, or down the list. But then again, that's coming from someone that spent 7 years under the table as a residential and commercial employee for the fact of plumbing for two separate companies. One of them was unionized and the other one was just private hire under the table. But, you know, it is what it is. You just, when you've spent long enough in the trades, you learn certain things, and when you go in and look at certain places, you think, okay, well, that's not the way that's supposed to be. And well, if they're going to turn around and leave without turning the power on, then reality's sake is I would have them A, turn the power on and get them reminded to turn it on before they leave, and then B, I would turn around and end up giving that report to the fact of the supervisory team for their team. Because truth is, that's something that a supervisor should know. That's basic training skills that they're missing. But yeah, I've had Sparkies forget it. I've had Sparkies forget to turn the power on. And it's not fun. Then again, I've also had a point in time where we ended up having a freaking gas company technician come out that swore up and down for the first time that he came out that there was no way he could turn on the gas. Okay. Well, basically, more or less, we went 2 weeks without the gas being on. We turned around and ended up going through, and they sent out the technician again because certain things had been fixed down the list. Technician comes back in and still swore up and down they couldn't turn the gas on. You know, it makes you wonder how bad, how fucked does something have to be for a technician to walk out the door saying that they're afraid that if they light the system that you're gonna go boom. Hey, well, if you're there during the power shortage and they're there, great time to play catch up and find out such things, huh? I mean, it's moments like this that cause neighbors to get to know each other. At least when they're not antisocial like me. I only know my neighbors because they're all members of the property. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't associate with half of them. Just because of the fact that I really am just that antisocial, even though I seem social on camera. In real life, I'm not as social as I am on camera. Um, 1920. All right, so we're down to like the last 12 minutes. So I guess being as we're in the last 15 of the show, technically down to like the last 12, which means we're coming up on the last 10, that I will throw the notation out there one more time, just for those that are new or coming in or just catching the back end of the video, that if you want to support our channel or you want to support our content or you want to help turn around and try to make the lounge better or help with upgrades or down the list, we have a donation link. We have donations. They are sitting in, I believe, up here in this corner with the 3 dots, or over here in this corner with the 3 dots. I don't remember which one's which. Maybe it's down here in this corner even. But one of these 3 corners has the 3 dots that has the description page. The description page has the fact of our donation information. If you want to turn around and make a donation to try to support the channel and or try to turn around and help actually upgrade the channel, we appreciate it. If not, we totally understand. Not everybody has the funds, finances, or the resources to be able to turn around and make donations. But we figure it would be a good thing to throw out there that yes, somewhere with the 3 dots description, channel donation information. With that said, let's get back to it. Sky, you stay indoors. I know the feeling. I try to get outdoors. I know I'm going to have to get outdoors more, but reality's sake is I've been spending quite a bit of time inside. And it's both good and bad for my psyche. Oh, it is so fun while you're drunk. I will admit, Uno can become a very good drinking game, but never play Monopoly. Never let liquor and Monopoly enter the equation on the same night on the same table. It doesn't end well. Liquor and Monopoly is a a prescription for a very bad evening. But yeah, drunk Uno is fun. I have been there before. It does not mean that I'm promoting drinking. It does not mean that I'm promoting drinking. Let's get that clear, YouTube. Don't try me on that. I'm not promoting it. I'm just agreeing that yes, I have played drunk Uno, and in my opinion, it is pretty fun. It gets really, really exciting sometimes. Oh, I know. And you know what? You can just tell when somebody's just holding on to the cards. And you know what I'm talking about when they're holding on to just the right cards. You know a fellow strategist on the table when you see one, and when those hands are getting big for whatever no reason, yeah, you know they're stacking some shit. But yeah, there are plenty of ways to do people dirty in Uno. It's just like reality's sake is everybody thinks in Monopoly that you have to go around the board once before you can start buying property. No, no, that's not how that actually works. You can actually buy property on your first roll if you land on a property. Just that simple. If they've included Uno now, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, straight up, that is straight out ridiculous. But then again, we are talking about casinos in Florida, and well, if it's not Florida man throwing a gator through a freaking restaurant window, uh, it's more sensical. But on that subject, who the fuck throws a gator through a restaurant window? Like straight up, just chucks a gator in through a drive-through window. What? Some people, man, some people. Florida breeds a special kind of person. It really does. That special kind of no fucks given. But yeah, if casinos in Florida have picked up Uno, that's kind of cool and that's kind of weird at the same time. I'm not sure how to feel about that, but this is coming from someone who probably more than likely should never set foot on a blackjack table, especially not if it's running less than 4 decks. Yes, gator as in alligator. As in alligator. Tossed an alligator through a drive-through window because the employee made them mad. Who and why and what they were thinking, I don't know, but they chucked the alligator through the window. Okay, it literally just flomped onto the floor in the drive-through reception area where the freaking kiosk was. It was chaos and mayhem, and only in Florida do these things happen. Okay? I don't know how else to explain that. It's just a Florida thing. Florida is its own special kind of thing. I don't know how else to explain that. If aliens ever landed and they ended up landing in Florida, I would feel really, really scared for the human population when they say take us to your leader, because the King Floridian is probably not the prime subject for the human species in interstellar relation, okay? We're gonna have Captain Kirk and the Gorn all over again, if that be the case. Alright, Danny, you have a good one. Have a good doctor's appointment. Hopefully everything turns out well. Um, yeah, we're down to like the last 5 minutes of the show as we speak. So, yeah, we're getting close. That one's still recording, so the 4K should be in. The 4K should be intact. I think. It's managed to stay on this entire time this time, so it might just be doing what it needs to do. Oh, well, then in that case, good luck, good luck. If it's job provider appointment, yeah, definitely good luck. Knock 'em dead. Hey, Ruth, just in time for the last five. Got the last 5 minutes of the show because we're cutting at 7:30 tonight. I must have annoyed the neighbor a little bit. But yeah, just in time for the tail end. Oh, 1:25 in the morning there. All right, so figure we'll be cutting off at like 1:30 your time, Sky. And actually, I have to laugh about this because we were just talking about Florida. We were just talking about Florida, man, and the special kind of person that Florida breeds, and in comes Ruth, our Floridian queen. Right on the tail edge border, but yeah, if ever there was a perfect person to turn around and dictate the craziness that is Florida, man, it'd be Ruth. I mean, I'm sure the gator in the window is nothing compared to half the stories that Ruth probably has floating around. But we're gonna have to turn around and do a special one day. One day we're going to do a special, and it's gonna have to be like straight up just tales out of Florida of the crazy shit that goes on. Um, Ruth, if you got any special ones that you want turned around and thrown into that episode, send them to me. It might take a little while to get that episode turned around and set up, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna do a Florida episode one of these days of just crazy shit that's happened in Florida, because there's a long list of crazy shit that's happened in Florida. But yeah, we all know about the gator through the window, so we know that there's more cases. There's got to be. I wonder what Jarvis can pick up. Uh, all right. We got 3 minutes left for the end of the show. 3 minutes left to go. Two more now. Okay, so technically 2 minutes. So when that says, all right, 1:39, got this. All right. Well, folks, it's been fun. It's been good. It's been a great show. We've had some laughs. We've dealt with some serious concepts. We've turned around and had some fun. And we've definitely made an imprint on the day. For what it's worth, we will catch y'all in the next one. Remember, we are aiming for around sometime between 3 p.m., 4 p.m., like Monday, Wednesday, Friday notation, for our start time. I'm not going to give the exact time on it because that would just be dumb of me. I don't want to set a precedent of being on at this time and then missing it by 20, 30 minutes, Just throw it in that time frame of sometime between 3 and 4, at least Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll be on air. But for what it's worth, y'all, it's been a good one. It's been a great show. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Remember, if you want to donate, somewhere in the three dots or on the channel description after this video has been posted, it'll turn around and have the description info for the fact of how to turn around and donate to our channel. We are not monetized. Currently, we do have to use Cash App to accept any channel donations whatsoever. That is just the way that we have to do it at the moment. Once we're monetized, we'll go from there and change that up. But we've got a little bit of a way to go because we're only 200 and some out of 500 subscribers. And we're only like 700 out of 3,000 watch hours for our videos. So if anyone seriously wants to help the channel, it's not just the fact of donations, y'all. It's simply going back and watching the older content, going back and putting a playlist on autoplay for the night, even with the volume down where, you don't have to listen to it, you don't have to hear it. Hell, if all 200 of my viewers went and watched my one gaming playlist 2 nights in a row, every single subscriber just 2 nights in a row play my gaming playlist, even without the volume on, just autoplay it. the watch time would be there next week. Just food for thought. Monetization's not easy, and it's not an easy mountain to climb. But there are ways to be able to help out, and if y'all feel like it, I would greatly appreciate if you guys did. If not, I totally understand. But y'all, it's been great. This is Canna Creator Studios, and for the night, we gonna sign off. Have a good one, y'all. Night.